Hey everybody, welcome to the Chasing Freedom podcast with Noah and Jeff.
In this show, we're going to dive deep into flips, wholesales, holding rentals, and creatively structuring deals,
so that we can show you how you can achieve that lifestyle of freedom that you desire.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Chasing Freedom podcast with Noah and Jeff. Today, we have got two of the funniest people that I personally know. They run a massive Airbnb rental management business. Sorry, that was a tongue twister. Called Soar Innovations. I've got Mike Dawson and Casey Barnwell here today with us. Thank you guys for making some time to come on the show.
Oh, of course.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah.
It's if you
Soar First Innovations.
Soar First
Did I say it wrong?
It's okay. You had a mouthful on that one, so it's all right. We'll forgive you on that one.
Without losing your breath.
That's like super disrespectful.
I'm over it. I'll just cry about it later.
Now, they're leaving. They're actually, if you can't see this video,
I'm like, this is so going into my diary after this.
At least you got the names right, so that's a plus.
Yeah, personal names I feel like are more important.
Yeah, more important. All right, so
in.
Soar First Innovations. That's the company if you guys are going to look them up. And Casey and Mike are savages. I think you guys have one of the most unique setups that I have seen on an Airbnb. Do you guys like the arbitrage name? Is that like accurate or more? Not really, because you guys are doing more of the like rental management side, right?
We started doing the arbitrage. So we do have properties we're operating under the arbitrage concept. And that's, I mean, anyone who does it knows that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But we also are side venturing into the management side of it and locking down more properties. Casey just locked down 10 more properties today that we're going to be doing next year. 10.
10 more. Dang,
Casey,
that's
do you
awesome,
sleep?
bro.
Maybe.
Don't roll over, you'll probably find it there.
That's awesome, man. So what got you guys, like, what got you on this path? What were you doing before this, and what got you inspired? This is kind of the startup, right? So what got you started on doing this?
Well, when we started out getting into real estate, we were in a place where we were working for another company. We worked together. We were working out together. So we just kind of did everything in life together. Our wives said
you guys were best
married.
friends.
Yeah. Oh, more than best friends.
That's so.
I helped him stretch a lot.
That's cute.
We did yoga.
We discovered issues
yoga?
with the height differences.
Yeah.
It's a powerful pair up.
It is. He gets the high, I get the low.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
There you go.
So everything's always covered.
Yeah.
But we got
is that the company motto?
Should be.
Should be?
When
I
we
got
get
the
the
high,
t-shirts
he's got
made
the
and the
low.
hats
There you
made,
go.
it'll probably be
Always
something like that.
Killer. Oh, man. All right. So you got going.
So we started out, we were doing some fix and flips. I think we flipped one or two homes. This was about 2017, kind of when we got started into discovering we were done working for other people and building their dreams for them.
Yeah.
We wanted to chase freedom and build our own future and start living life on our schedule. So we started getting into the fix and flip, and that was just as the market out here just erupted.
Yeah.
And I know everyone who's in real estate knows exactly what happened out
Yeah.
here. So it was a grind at first. We were putting a lot of time in just trying to find a property. You know, we were those new guys just trying to figure out how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And as we got connected with some great people, one of the things that we found out is the more we networked with people in the community who were doing real estate, whether it's meetup groups or just connecting with people in the industry already, man, that launched our opportunity so much faster because people were willing to work with us, give us some tidbits and drop some truth bombs on us on how to accelerate and build our business faster. And so we just, okay, let's do it. You know, pretty simple concept. And as we got into it, we determined and discovered through that process that we hated flipping homes because it sucked up all of our time.
Yeah.
And in the process, roughly 2 years ago, we kind of stumbled across the short-term rental industry and just the whole concept of the hospitality industry behind it.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, that sounds fun. We could do that. That's easy. And Casey's creativity side came out and he's like, we could do this and we could make it look like that. And it just, I'm like, all right, we got to figure out how we're going to do this. And then we just started doing the educational side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like anybody smart out there, you always want to start your research on who's already doing it and doing it very well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And not reinvent the wheel, but how can we get connected with this individual to, kind of pick their brain and everything like that. So, we built this wonderful relationship with a man. His name is Chi Ta, and he's out of Orange County, California.
Nice.
And he has over 80 Airbnbs that he arbitrages, and he
wow.
owns about 8 of them.
Wow.
And they're all 8 of the properties that he own are mansions out there in California.
He does clean 7 figures a year with his returns.
Insane.
Wow.
Yeah, and he built that out of a 3-year period, and it was just insane. So, we met up for yoga. No, I'm just kidding. I reached out to him on there and just started.
I totally believed you, by
I
the way.
believe
I was
you.
like, no, it's normal. Yeah,
Most people do until
Sounds like a California thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Casey looks like he does yoga.
all the time. I'm very flexible. and yeah, just started building a great relationship with him, and he really liked what Mike and I were doing, and started mentoring us on how to
That's
get
awesome.
into it. And so we dove into the research and started figuring out what exactly is not being done out here, like in any market.
Yeah.
And how can we get a chunk of that and be the number one host out here in Idaho. There's not one place that you hit up in Idaho that we do not pop up
Yeah.
saying you have to stay here. This is an amazing place. Our reviews reflect that. And so we started just diving into that and building relationships around and with businesses and with the hospitals, and started letting them know what exactly we did and how easy it was for them to stay on our properties and how we were able to customize their stay.
Yeah.
And so once we hit up that niche for us, we started reaching out to a lot of property managers, letting them know, hey, we could take great care of your property, but we're just going to be a regular tenant like anybody else. But with the addendum in the lease saying that we can sublet it out. And the property managers absolutely love that.
Not at first.
Not at
We
first.
got
Not
a lot
at
of no's.
first.
No one believed
Yeah.
that because the concept is very, very foreign to many
Yeah.
people out here. Now, a lot of property managers are actually doing it themselves, or
Yeah.
working with realtors and investors who do this kind of work.
That's interesting. You guys are seeing a lot of property managers that are now turning vacant rentals for the property owners into
For short term.
Airbnbs.
Correct.
Interesting.
And the challenge with that is that Mike and I have been seeing is that they don't fully understand.
They're not built out for that.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's
no
a
idea what
separate
they're doing.
industry. They go,
Yeah.
oh, it's rental management, so it's the same.
Same.
But long
Not
term
the
and
same.
short term, that's completely different.
Very different animals.
You
Yeah.
guys are probably way more customer service and guest experience focused, right?
Correct.
Yeah, much
Absolutely.
more of a hospitality industry
Absolutely.
rather than a like rental property management.
Yeah.
Property
Yeah.
management companies are not known for customer service.
No,
they're actually
especially
generally
the
not
big
nice
ones.
people.
We're like, they suck.
Yeah.
They just want your money,
Yeah.
and that's the only time they'll really reach out to you unless you break something.
Yeah,
I've met
Yeah.
one nice property manager here in the valley. No offense to anybody else that I've ever dealt with, but it's Brian Anderson, and he's
Yeah.
in our office.
Yeah, wonderful man. We
Brian's
just
great.
actually locked our first deal with him. He's been trying to work us
Yeah,
for
he's
the
been
past
trying.
few months, trying to get us into.
Oh, nice.
That's
That's
awesome,
awesome.
man.
And so, yeah, his owner of the home was struggling to get a tenant in there, and he contacted us. We went and checked it out like
weeks
literally the
ago?
next day.
Oh yeah, it was
And,
not that long ago.
Yeah, I walked through the property and called him up saying, yeah, this would be perfect. And there was, like anything else, you want to also still save money, just like in fix and flip.
Yeah.
What is there to negotiate? And so we brought up all the pain points of the property and the way that we're able to negotiate either rent off or, deposit down off the property.
Yeah.
And so we were able to basically cut our first month's rent in half
Oh, that's smart.
and negotiate the deposit
And
as
get the
well.
last month off.
Yeah, and got the last month off as well. So that that literally saves us what was like over
$3,400 bucks. or
$3,400
something
bucks.
that,
Yeah,
right
that's-
out the gate.
Really smart.
Yeah, that's awesome.
versus just having our own personal team that fixes our properties anyways in case anything happens.
Yeah.
Handyman. He just comes in, $300 later,
Yeah.
fixes it all up to the standard that we have it in and how we keep it.
So
And-
then Brian is going to sublet, his company is going to sublet this to you guys, and you guys are going to go the Airbnb route on it?
No, so basically we're regular tenants in his property.
We're Brian's tenants.
Yeah,
Brian's
Brian,
okay,
you guys,
yeah,
are,
yeah.
you
No,
guys
yeah,
are arbitraging this
Yep.
particular
Yes.
one. Yeah.
And then we'll sublet it we'll sublet it to our
That's right.
guests and clientele.
Nice.
Yeah, because property owners, whenever they bring up what Mike and I do, especially if it's a brand new home that the homeowner just purchased,
Yeah.
and they let them know exactly what we do, they're absolutely thrilled. They're like, wait, they're gonna take care of it, and we do a minimum $500 per month of maintenance on the home.
Oh,
And
really?
If anything happens, we cover up to $500.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's huge, and they absolutely love it. So they're like, all we do is just get invoices from the professionals that come in and take care of the property. Yep. All you guys have to do is just collect a check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
All
Yeah,
they
it
do
makes
is
it nice and
collect a
easy.
check.
Yeah.
And you guys are you're a company, you're an entity that you're much safer than a renter. Like I
100%.
feel like there's this skepticism or just this thing because anything that's non-traditional gets pushed back, right? Like so, I remember when people are like, "Oh, we're gonna do Airbnb arbitrage." The argument I always heard was like, "I don't want people in Airbnb staying in your house; they're gonna mess it up."
Yep.
Bro, I was a great tenant growing up. Like I'm a pretty clean person. There's still damage that happened to a house that probably wouldn't happen with the Airbnb company because you guys have a cleaner that's going in after every stay, somebody who's then checking in, like in property management, our goal is to get our property manager into a property at least once a month. If she can't do that, once every other month. That means every 60 days, I'm getting a chance to assess that property and see what damages were done. You guys get that opportunity every 3 to 6 days, depending on what the stay is, right? Where your cleaner can go in and say, hey, this bath now is broken or something like that, right?
Yep.
So you guys have the ability to not have deferred maintenance like you would have in a normal renter situation because the renter's not going to bring it up. They're only going to bring up the stuff they want you to fix. If they broke something, they're not bringing it up
No,
right away.
no.
They're going to sweep that under the rug.
They're going to hide that. Hopefully it gets missed. And
Yeah.
you guys are taking care of up to $500 a month in freaking repairs.
Yeah.
So
That's
are you,
killer.
you're also probably changing like what do you call that? HVAC filters and all, and furnace
Yeah.
filters or
Yeah.
whatever.
We do all the
and
daily maintenance.
light
then.
bulbs
we
and
take care of that.
no, renters don't do that. Every single rental I've ever turned, we end up paying for new filters. We pay for, and it's also that's
light
also
bulbs,
poor
yeah.
property management
Yeah.
on our part. But still, whatever. It is what
We're
it is.
getting better every day, guys.
I swear. Yeah, I'm like usually we if they haven't serviced the HVAC systems and little maintenance here and there, we'll bring in our team and just have them service it. So there's nothing worse than a tenant contacting you saying it's really hot in here.
Yeah.
Should it be this hot? When a woman's saying it's hot in a house that's
Not
usually
good.
around
Yeah,
73
it's hot.
degrees,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a bad time. And so, I'm like Mike and I experienced that twice this year with two of our
ACs were kind of
properties.
the bane of our last probably 6 weeks of working right now.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
what's the first thing you do when you go into a hotel? You go up to the AC.
I
And
crank
you
that
just-
baby down, man. I'm like,
that button, like your life
72.
depends on it. And you're like, more power. You're like, I don't know if you
I'm
guys
glad I'm not the only one. That's good.
like you've seen Star Wars when they're shooting at Luke and everything, and Kylo Ren just saying more.
The people that come
People
in,
are,
yes.
just mashing that button. So, but we figured out that you could put a resistor in your furnace, so it does not go below a certain temperature that you want. But if it detects that the line set in it is starting to freeze, it'll immediately turn off the AC and turn on the fan, so it starts.
Yeah, that's smart because that's what people don't notice is when you go on a furnace, when you go in there and you crank that coolant down or that temperature down, but then if you have like a window open or something, or people always like door open, that system can't keep up with that, and that coil eventually freezes out, and then you're looking, it's all bad.
Exactly.
Well-
You walk out to the AC and all you see is a big huge ice block on
Just a
on the
cry-
line
it looks-
set.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm just like I always bring a cup of water. I'm just like free ice. Some grass in it.
There you go. It's healthy.
I love it. Hey, let's dive in. You kind of mentioned it a little bit already, Casey. One of the things I think sets you guys apart, and I was just explaining this to somebody at we were at this the Maui Master class last week, and I was explaining this to somebody, and they're like, dude, that's brilliant. Like, why doesn't everybody do that? You guys negotiated like kind of, and I don't know if you have like how you all set it up, but you alluded it like you went to hospitals and to some of these people that place workers in our market, and you set up these relationships. Go into that a little bit because when we have a couple, just so everyone knows, we have a couple Airbnbs that Casey and Mike are going to be managing for us, and the reason that we're going with you guys is why? I mean, one, we enjoy you guys are awesome. Somehow
good.
you also get more per night compared to everybody else. I'm like, this is dope. Let's keep doing this. But really, what stood out to me is you didn't just rely on what Airbnb has to offer, right? Like the platform itself. You went above and beyond that, and you said, okay, in the Treasure Valley, we have slow months. How do we get ahead of that? And then you started setting up these relationships with people, and I hadn't heard of any other company that was doing that. So walk us through what that looks like, what inspired you to do that, and how that kind of correlates to more dollars in the door for the business.
Right. So like most of the smaller apartments around here, they tend to cater to a lot of traveling nurses, usually no more than groups of like 2 to 3.
Yeah.
And it didn't work with our pricing because they wanted monthly stays versus nightly stays, and that really cuts our profit in half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, we usually direct them to people that we know to take care of them,
Yeah.
because that's just our standard. It may not work for us, but we know people that can take care of you.
Yep.
Because in the end, we're all in this together, and we all want to make sure everybody's taken care of, because
Yeah.
you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this business.
Yep.
And you win, I win. And Mike and I, it's just one of our core values.
And
But-
yeah, even to that point, actually, is as we were looking into how can we set ourselves apart, how can we raise our standards, how can we increase the quality and value of our guests and our customers' stay. And so as we were kind of brainstorming different ideas, just that whole concept just came out of several conversations we had with each other and we had with other partners of how can we maximize the experience of people coming into this. And so going into other businesses and having conversations with them, working some deals and opportunities was really kind of born out of just the mentality, like Casey was just saying, of how can we increase the value of our guest stay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
What I love so much about that is it's the fundamental difference between someone who is proactive and someone who is reactive.
Yep.
So a reactive Airbnb property manager would say, well, I don't know, it's up on Airbnb and we have great photos and it's in a great location. I don't know why we're not doing well. I don't know why our properties aren't as good as Casey's and Mike's, right?
Yeah.
But your guys, the difference between you guys is you are actively out marketing the properties and services and saying, look, guys, we have a solution. We have this portfolio of Airbnb properties that'll be great for your guests. If one of them doesn't work for a time frame you need, guess what? We've got 30 other properties that you can choose from.
Yep.
So it's the key difference. I think it's actually a fundamental difference between why certain businesses succeed, whether it be property management, flip companies, wholesalers, marketing, active, versus doing what everybody else does and hoping it works, which is, in my mind, passive.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are taking an active approach.
Well, I'm like, fortunate enough for us, we didn't have the choice of just letting it do its own thing, because we started up in the beginning of the pandemic.
yeah.
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 And so
Gotta
we
go to
had to
work.
pivot really quick. I'm like, Mike and I, when everything started happening, we're just like, okay, so we started our real estate business when Idaho turned into the number one place to be moved into, and then everything skyrocketed up. And now we're starting where everybody's, shutting down and everything like that. And we're like, well, business travel is going to happen regardless.
Yep.
Essential
People
workers
feel
need to
places
get where they need to go. So when we hit up the medical field, we weren't just hitting up nurses that wanted to stay with us. We were hitting up ever since traveling surgeons.
Yep. Specialists.
That's really
Specialists,
cool.
because we get a lot of specialists that fly into here for certain surgeries.
Yeah.
And so during the time of a lot of the shutdowns, these medical professionals wanted to bring their families with them and stay in a home.
Yeah.
And so, and plus it gave them the chance to kind of get to an area that, fortunate enough, Idaho wasn't fully locked down
Yeah.
and able to experience
Yeah.
the wilderness around us.
Yeah.
And so they absolutely loved it. So we built a great relationship, because doctors
That's
do
rad.
word of mouth, saying, hey, I stayed here. It was absolutely gorgeous and everything that I ever wanted in it. And our kids absolutely loved it. And so that's how we set up our medical clients up.
Yeah.
And then Mike and I started diving into insurance companies for the unfortunate events that happen to people's homes, water line breaks.
Oh, interesting.
Something, a fire
Or they're doing a
happens,
remodel
or they're
on their
doing a
house, they have to be
remodel.
out of it
I'm
for
like,
X
we
amount of
we hosted a lot of guests that were doing remodels, and they're like, well, we can't be in there for 2 weeks. Can we stay at your place?
Yeah.
Can you become like a preferred provider for insurance companies for short-term housing
You
needs?
can get on their list, and in that aspect, through Airbnb, yes, you can come you can become a preferred provider. And then one of the ways we found that out was our length of being a superhost.
Yep.
Once you've been a superhost for X amount of time, Airbnb starts marketing your properties to specific clientele for specific needs.
That's really cool.
We're actually hosting some families right now that are refugees from war-torn countries.
Oh, wow.
That a nonprofit company found us through Airbnb
Recommended superhost.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I know we through some adverse circumstances we got to know them a little bit, but we were really humbled and honored to hear about what they were doing and why, and wanted to definitely be a part of that. And we had some other families they had stay with us that didn't speak English very well, obviously not familiar with our culture here in America, and so we had some issues with them doing some damage on one of the properties. But the nonprofit company, we walked them through, showed them what happened. It wasn't anything that like destroyed the property ultimately, but we had to have some of our team members come in and do some cleaning and repairs and stuff, and then they cover those expenses. They're happy to do it, and now they have another family staying at one of our other units.
And that's awesome. And that's all because you guys had were identified on the platform as a superhost for an extended period of time.
Yeah, because they go through the algorithm of who's your main guests that come through your property, and they funnel that to their ads, saying
incredible.
For your next business stay, for your next what's it called? When they drawing a blank here.
The algorithm, or
No, when they job relocation.
Oh yeah,
yeah, big potato.
yeah,
Airbnb, as much as we would be tracking our data, I mean, because everything's done on their platform, they're tracking all your data. So they're seeing how much money you're making them. So if you're making them money, they're going to push your properties.
Yeah.
But it's also still being on top of saying, okay, are we still working the algorithms on both sides of it, not only on Airbnb, but from our standpoint as well.
That's killer.
I think a key thing that for people that are listening that are interested in Airbnb their properties, Casey and Mike just brought up something that you need to hear. I don't think self-managing Airbnbs is a great option unless you're going to go and spend at least 10, 15, 20 hours a week on trying to figure this system out. Because the coolest thing for us, we get a tap. We're going to have probably like 6 Airbnb properties by the end of this year.
Yeah.
And by doing that, instead of us having to go get the Superhost badge and all these cool things and build up our portfolio or our little portal and profile on Airbnb, we're tapping into you guys. And you guys have been doing this for months. And you've already created an excellent brand and awareness and reviews. And so, like, we're going to automatically just get a tap into, like, this profile that you've created. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like, getting a paycheck without having to do anything for it.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just bring the cheese.
Yeah, for the people listening to our show, like, this is definitely going to be a unique episode because it's a form of investment, but it's kind of outside of the box. But for people listening to this, like, this is the Chasing Freedom show. You listen to this show to learn how to invest in real estate and how to ultimately not just make money, but to make time. So if you're listening to this, you're going, yeah, I've always been fascinated by Airbnb. Let me bootstrap this thing. And I'm just going to say, like, look outside the box and look at an Airbnb arbitrage company that has a successful record. Don't look to save that little bit of money, that 20, that 25%, whatever it is. Don't look to save that. Look at how that person can add you more value and also give you more time freedom that then you can go and focus on getting another property. Because managing a property is a lot of work. Yes. And you guys are in a different situation than I'm in. You've built out a team and a company to manage this property. So that's where, like, you guys are able to do this with some sort of time freedom as well because it's your main focus. It's your business. My business is fix and flips and single family home rentals, right?
Right.
So that my business is not Airbnb. So I'm going to tap into your business. You're still going to be able to have the freedom that you guys chase because you've been able to build a different business. And that business is building a team of maintenance people, cleaners, and whatever else your organization looks like around you guys to allow you to run multiple or to manage multiple properties at once. So, like, that's what I like. It's a win-win. Like, you're still able to have the business that you desire while I still have the business and we all make money together.
Yep.
So don't, like, this whole, we wrestle against this all the time in our show of, like, we know people listen like, oh, I can maximize here and I can maximize here. And Airbnb is like one of the ones where people are like, oh, it's fun, it's trendy. It's got to be easy, right? 1, it's not. 2, you don't want to deal with it. 3, you're probably not as good as these guys are. I can guarantee it. So I just
we learned a lot.
Oh, I
in the
bet
first
you
6
did.
months.
And
Yeah.
we've studied a lot too. I mean, one of the things, if you're doing any research on your market, on your business, what you're doing is you're checking what's going on out there. What are other properties doing? And
Yeah.
so, regularly we're checking to see what other hosts are doing and what their reviews are and what the quality of their property is, what the value is for what they've put into it. And I mean, it's kind of brutal to see what else is out there with people.
Yeah.
I mean, they're making money, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But read through some of the reviews.
Right.
Yeah.
They've got things to learn about how to properly run.
got issues, yeah.
Run those properties.
Yeah.
I'm staying at an Airbnb in Indianapolis next month, and I didn't realize this. There was like 10 good pictures, and then there was 10 pictures that apparently I didn't see until I was showing my buddies later. There's like a dog running around. There's 2 kids. I'm like, where the heck are we staying?
Exactly.
They're all going to be there with you. By the way.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
You just got that, it's the kids from the neighbor's house,
Yeah.
and they're all yelling from the other yard.
They
They're
just
like,
broke
get off
this
the dang roof!
Get out of my shot. I'm trying to take a picture on
For
my phone.
real.
So funny.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I want to spend a little bit of time we have left in this episode talking about the other side of your guys' business, which is not the arbitrage side, but the management side, because it's a really cool platform that I'm very excited to be a part of. So break it down, what it looks like. I mean, we can even talk about our properties, like what it looks like for us as we're working with you, how much of it you guys take on, and how little you leave for us to have to worry about or manage. And then I'd also want you to dig in on some of the really cool stuff that you've done in one of your properties that we're also going to be doing in ours.
Right. All right. I'll let
If you can't pick up what he's putting down, then we've missed the boat. dude.
All right, start over. We're doing the whole
It's like it's the way we fold the toilet paper.
I
We're
want
like, no,
you to
Casey,
do the
it
one
wasn't
thing
that.
that you're doing.
Yeah, I'll let you go, Mike, and explain their systems.
Okay, so our systems basically with the management side is we'll do all the boots on the ground work. What we would ask for people who want to work with us on this avenue, supply the property, pay to furnish the house. We'll help you get it set up and organized. We'll get it up on the platform. We'll get pictures done and all that stuff. But getting the upfront cost set up is sort of our offset to getting the property properly ready and up and running on the Airbnb platform. And then we're going to be looking into other platforms that we want to be marketing on here. I know there's a bunch out there, but there's some we won't do because of reason we just don't like some of the things they don't offer that Airbnb does offer.
Yeah.
But anyways, that aside, we're basically just saying we'll take care of everything once it's set up, and we'll just charge a 30% management fee.
Yeah.
So anyone that's coming into it is you're going to be making 70% of the returns. And I think we've shown Jeff and Noah some of the returns on our properties. For instance, we were just looking at the numbers the other day. We have our 8th property. It's not even up and running yet. So with 7 properties, we've done 6 figures in bookings since June.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
that blew my mind. We just saw that come across. And so we know the value, we know the potential, we know the makings and the earnings that it can create. And so basically our offer in doing the management side is, hey, we'll take care of everything. If something major happens, then we'll have to get you involved. But beyond that, you just collect your 70% every month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Simple.
It's basically that simple.
Yeah.
If you can't
I'm
do it
like,
with
you
a
want to make
crayon-
money while you're sleeping?
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's
I'm
the
like,
goal.
Unless I wake you up, because I need cuddles.
Yeah.
So
Anytime.
I'm Little Spoon.
With the deep voice.
I've been working on my Barry White.
There
I
you go,
like it,
dude.
man.
Wife just screams.
She's like, stay away, bro.
Exactly. And so I just remind her, I'm just like, I'm stronger than you.
Guys, Casey is one of the funniest humans I've
Yeah,
ever
he's-
met in my life. It's good stuff.
Yeah. And so, basically, and then once we get to that point when like for your guys, it's like, oh, cool, let's go check out the properties. Now we walk through the properties, and that's when I come in on my creative side because I have that vision of what our guests actually want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what do people want when they come out to stay? They want comfort, they want luxury, and they want fun.
Yeah. Yep.
And so figured out, okay, what can we create out of this space? So what we did with our last property we built out is that there is, due to pandemic, a lot of our retro arcades stores have shut down, which absolutely sucks.
Sad.
And so we realized there was a opportunity there to build something out that nobody has seen out here in Idaho.
Yeah.
And we're just like, let's bring an 80s/90s style arcade system.
Yeah.
And into our property.
Yeah.
And we got the opportunity to finally do one because Mike and I have been talking about it. We're just like, we
wanted
want to
to
bring an
forever.
arcade system into our property.
Yeah.
And so I dove into the research. I found retro stand-up arcade systems that you could play, 4-player Ninja Turtles, and then a
My
single
favorite
player.
game as a kid.
Yeah, I'm like, Mike and I got to like level 20.
When you say found, you actually mean that you were going into the shut down arcades and just taking the machines.
Did you
right?
steal them,
'Cause they were all
Casey?
boarded up?
Did you steal the machines?
We can't talk about that.
No comment.
I plead the fifth.
I had some Russians that owed me.
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. It's like whenever they drop off a card to me, just don't look in the trunk. Kool-Aid stains everywhere. But
Hopefully there's no Russians listening. to
But
this
got
show.
that
Russians that are listening, we love you. This is just because the Cold War, it stuck around in America, so all the James
We
Bond
love you. We have
movies,
no issues at all.
who knows?
I'm like, after this, I got to tell you guys a great story about a Russian neighbor I used to have.
That'll be after the
that'll
show.
be,
Yeah,
it'll be
exactly.
off the
Offline.
recorded channel conversation.
Exactly, rated X
Yeah.
for extreme. So yeah, I went online and I started digging into it because I'm all about, I want to save money.
Yeah.
I want a champagne look on a beer budget.
I love
That's
that.
a great reference.
I love that.
I'm going to use that line.
Yeah, it's
Champagne look on a beer on a
Beer
on a
budget.
Beer
budget.
you know.
Yeah.
Budweiser. And so I started looking around for deals.
Yeah.
And I was able to acquire both of these arcade systems for under $1,000. And so the other arcade
That's
system
rad.
is Pac-Man with Galactica and different variations of
Nice.
Mrs. Pac-Man and Mr. Pac-Man. It's super cool and easy to build as well. And I was completely nerding out when I was building it out.
Some assembly required.
I was just like, so awesome. And then we got a great size air hockey table that has RGB lights built into it. And,
That's
Nice.
fun.
It's killer.
and music that comes out of it. So, whenever you score and everything, you hear the,
Oh, it's got sound effects. That's
all
cool.
the sound
Yeah,
effects
That's
and
so
everything.
rad, man.
And then
Super Nintendo.
we got a Nintendo system. It looks like a Super Nintendo, but it has Atari on it, all the Ataris on it. It has Game Boy Color games
That's
on
awesome.
it, Game Boy Advance. It has all Sega.
Got like 3,000 games
yeah.
on it.
That's killer because you're appealing to such a large demographic on that. Like, retro is cool now. So all these middle school and high school kids who are traveling with their parents go, okay, they're gonna love that. My elementary school, well, they're not quite yet, but my kid would love to dink around with the air hockey table, right? So my young kids love it. The middle school, the high school love it. Old guys like you love it because it's nostalgia,
Hey,
right?
hey, they're not that old.
I saw
Hey,
Mike
hey,
about
hey,
to
hey,
stand
hey.
up and give me, but you hit like that's
I
you're
age
literally
like
hitting
fine
from
wine.
you're hitting from little kids to like people who lived in that era and that was their life. Like you used to run down to these arcades, toss the nickel, like or put your nickel on the thing and say I got next. Like
Yep.
you're hitting that demographic. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just seeing it all tie together. Mike and I felt like kids again. I'm like, because we were running RGB strip lights all the way at the bottom, so it all changes colors. And I'm like, just the nostalgia when you start up the arcade systems and getting all
the
those
old school
Yeah.
sounds, it
sounds
makes, and
going
That
on.
is
You
killer.
feel like you're right
And-
now, old skate rink with all the video.
Yeah,
games or
exactly.
something.
Yeah.
Totally sets the mood up. And with a 65-inch smart TV in there. So I'm like,
for the
everybody
Super
can
Nintendo.
see it. Everybody can chill.
I'm glad you said TV.
Yeah, because at first you said set the mood, and it was just you and Mike, and yeah. Anyways, sorry.
We did test it. We set them
I'm
up.
like, you're lucky my shirt's on still right now.
I'm unlucky because of that, Casey.
So yeah, I'm very excited because you're going to end up doing this same arcade setup in the
And one of
the
our
daylight
Yeah, one of
basement
your
of one of our Airbnb properties.
But the next level.
yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
about increasing that next level. What else can we do in here?
Yeah.
You know,
And I'm actually glad that Jeff and Mike were there because Casey and I got a little wild with our ideas.
Y'all started throwing some stuff out, and I was like, "Hey, let's just pick one or two."
We were
Okay,
Casey
let's-
and I wanted
gotta
to
rein
build
that stuff back.
cargo
Yeah,
net
for real.
beds that were elevated off the ground
Yeah, I
at
was
5 and
just
10 feet with
This is cool. I'm
big
like,
screen movie theater.
I want the doors to make shutter sounds like off a spaceship when you come in.
One of the things, though,
Close the blast doors.
I will applaud you, and I think it's so cool because you guys just have far more insight than we do, right? So we're this same house that we're putting this arcade system in. We're walking through, and I was just kind of being lazy because it was such an easy flip, which is so rare for us nowadays that I was like, I don't want to think about this one, guys. Just go in cosmetic remodel. Well, in doing that, I didn't think about like, hey, we don't have a true master suite in here, which our original plan was to refinance and just keep it as a normal rental. So sure, we would have taken like $100, maybe $100 a month hit compared to if we had the master suite. But I'm like, oh, not a big deal. Then you guys walk in, you're like, no, if you don't have that for Airbnb, you're talking about like, you're missing out on $1,500 a month or something like.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. So we were literally 3 days away from being done with this remodel. And now again, luckily 2 weeks later, we were three days away. We're very close. But these guys came in and they said, hey, Jeff, if you want to get these numbers that we're talking about, these projections, get a master suite in here, get another bathroom, make this all work out. So we were able to shift around the layout and make it work. But I'm so glad that this is why I'm glad that I was not the person saying, I'm just going to bootstrap this and manage it myself. Because one, I wouldn't have noticed that. Two, maybe you guys would have been nice enough to point that out to me down the road if I was self-managing, and then I would have had to stop, take it off of Airbnb, do a three-week remodel on it, and lose all that revenue while adding the expense of the bathroom. So this is where partnering with guys like you who have that expertise, who have that data. It's really just data-driven.
Yep.
Like your opinion doesn't really matter that much. The data does. You say, hey, Jeff, this house that has this master suite gets this much more money. Does it make sense? And it's like, oh, yeah, duh. It's good that I know that now. So kudos to you guys for knowing and studying and being involved in that and pointing that out. So that was huge for us.
The biggest thing I could tell anybody right now that's thinking about getting into Airbnbs is you're not living in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So all the things that you think would be really cool and pretty and everything like that, most people don't give
I'm not going to lie.
craps about it. It's all about, it's, yes, fill in the little, I'm like, it has to be girl cute, guy neutral.
Yeah, I think that's huge. We're booking an Airbnb for like 2 weeks from now, and I always go to like, give me the coolest design because I'm a real estate guy. I love cool designs, and my wife's like, no, Jeff, that's not functional. We have 2 kids, and so like go girl cute and guy. What the guy neutral?
Yeah,
because I don't get to make the decision. My wife's gonna bully me into picking the one that she wants me to pick. And it's not gonna be because you had the accent wall and the cool tile. It's gonna be because it was functional, it was cute, and she knew that it would work for our kids.
Because 98% of the time, who's looking to book the place that you're staying at?
Yeah,
she is.
It's always
your wife or your partner.
Yeah,
because they're the ones sitting right by you saying, "Ooh, honey, look at this. This is really adorable and everything." And you're like, "Can I put my luggage in the closet?"
Yeah, you're like, "I don't care."
Does it come with a bed? Is there a toilet in there? I think we're good to go. Can I comb my hair in there?
Yeah,
solid. Is that an issue for you guys? The combing of the hair?
I just keep losing wigs.
You'd be surprised the stuff I find in the shower.
I know. People are like, "Is that moving?" And
That's good.
That's where it went.
that makes sense. I was wondering why all of our bathtubs were wet at the properties that they're going to manage.
Yeah,
you guys keep taking showers in them.
They're just testing them out, making sure it works.
You got to make sure it works.
Yeah,
they're very involved in the process. I love it.
Really deep inspections.
Because there's nothing worse than you turn on the shower head and the head of the shower just pops right off and kind of knocks you out.
Yeah. So let's do this because and I think this is again unique to this show, but I think we do have a decent Treasure Valley following now.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking for in a property? So let's say people are listening to this and they're going, well, let's kind of talk numbers, right? So let's say, okay, you got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Meridian. What would excite you guys to manage that? What could, like, essentially what I'm thinking, okay, we have people who are going to listen to this that have properties. How can we get them to say, let me go and work with Casey and Mike? Because one, I love you guys. I want your business to grow. Two, whoever's listening to this, they're missing out on this. Like this, and who knows if this is a forever thing. I'm pretty bullish on it. But at least this is a 3 to 5 year very hot cycle in the Treasure Valley. I don't think it is either. I don't know. Like, I had a buddy who just put, I said this to Noah yesterday, a buddy just put up his first Airbnb property. And I don't know if he is with the management company or self-managing, but he put it up and he booked 51 days in a row within 24 hours of being on an Airbnb site. So maybe it doesn't stay that hot forever, but I think it'll stay, like, it's a very demanded product. So how can I get the people who are listening to this to realize that if they have rentals, they're in a niche? How can they now partner with you guys and everybody make more money together? So What are you guys looking for in properties that you're attracted to, that you like? Maybe particular areas that you're interested in, particular areas to stay away from, kind of stuff like that. Local to the Treasure Valley.
Right. I'm like, to your friend that got the 51 nights booked, he's too cheap.
Oh, yeah. That was my first thought. I was like, that was a little quick, bro.
But this is why you pay the experts.
Exactly.
You caught that within seconds.
Yeah.
Jeff and I were
We
just
knew it
excited.
We're like, that's so
We didn't
cool.
know.
But in
right
hindsight,
when we get like 2 or 3 bookings in a row, Mike and I look at each other, we're like,
Raise
bump it
the
up
prices.
30%.
What the heck?
You're like, let's ride this train.
Yeah, that's smart.
And so for homes that we're looking around, like especially in Meridian, the places you want to stay out of right now that works with Mike and I's numbers is you want to stay out of Nampa and Caldwell.
Yeah.
They don't have the infrastructure yet
Yep.
for how we do our properties. If you own the property and already have one out there, I'm pretty sure it's doing really good, but it's not going to produce the numbers that you'd be getting in Meridian, Boise, Eagle, Garden City, parts of Garden City, and parts of Star.
Okay.
And so CUNA is out of reach right now, unless you have
For
a
our
very,
numbers, yeah.
Yeah,
our
CUNA,
numbers.
CUNA's an oddball. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't even flip in CUNA. It seems too weird to me.
What about like kind of the surrounding mountain towns and areas?
Yes, for sure. I'm like, the more unique and visually pleasing it is, and how close like trails are, lakes are, and everything like that, you are going to kill it if you have the right connections.
Yeah, you're going to create an experience, not just to stay. Someone's not just looking to stay. They want to, do a hunting experience
Right.
or an outdoors experience or boating, skiing on the lake.
Yeah.
You guys
People-
are so smart.
And on
about
something
this
like that, maybe the infrastructure of like the actual city doesn't. So quick scenario, we're like obviously McCall. If you can get something in McCall, hands down, do it. It's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
But there's some of these like mountain towns that are like kind of just isolated, and I was thinking like, oh, that might be bad. But then as you guys are saying, like, no, there's people who just want to get away.
Yep.
They want to cut away, and they don't need to have a McCall right there, or Cascade, or Donnelly.
Exactly.
They want to go and they just want to be in a cabin away from people. So that's smart. There's definitely a niche there as
that's
well.
cool to hear that.
And Airbnb markets that differently.
Yeah.
From the experience to the stay.
You're now a unique stay.
Yeah,
You're
there you
in that
go.
category
Yeah.
now. So anything that you type in on Google search for anything that's like completely out of this world, crazy for properties, guess what? Your ad pops up right up there.
See, and this is the stuff like if you're self-managing, you do not know. Like I had no clue
Yep.
there was unique stays and these
What was that
algorithms
one?
and
The people we're partnering with in Australia that had the airplane hangar stay or something like
Yes, there's this really cool one in
that's rad.
Australia. This lady purchased an airplane garage, and she bought an airplane that wasn't working and turned it into a bedroom.
That's really
so
cool.
cool.
So-
yeah, I
Very
mean,
cool
well, that's every
experience.
kid's dream.
Oh
Like,
yeah, and she had multiple stages where she had 5 airplanes that were turned into a bedroom that interconnected with each other.
that's so rad.
And
This is like we could have so much fun.
so much fun doing
I
this.
want to
the
do
Which
sky's
is
the
cool
limit.
because like one of the things is like we're all creatives. Like we love like this is why we flip. We like to design. We like to have
yeah.
fun. But also the numbers dictate it. And it's almost like Airbnb. And I'm gonna be very cautious here because somebody will call me and be like, "Don't give that advice." You're able to be creative and like be extremely creative.
Yeah.
And it's
And
almost like the
people are
more
looking
creative you
for
are,
that.
you make more money.
The,
The
more
way- I'm
creative,
like-
the more money.
There's
It's awesome.
one huge thing that I got from I'm pretty sure everybody knows Tim Grover.
Yeah.
There's one thing that out of many things that he taught me is there is no box.
I like that.
There is no box.
I like that.
Yeah. Not for yeah. That's
So
Actually, there, to me, if you guys like listen to Bigger Pockets or anything like that, you've heard of the Burr model.
the Burr, yeah.
In my opinion, this is a whole new model. Brandon Turner, if you're listening, I'm coining this term. You can't use it unless you give me
He
credit.
actually told me this weekend, all you have to say is trademark, and then
This is
it can be
trademarked.
pulled off
Trademark.
of some internet site that you were the first person to ever say it. So trademark.
This is trademarked.
Trademark.
It's called. I'm probably gonna enunciate.
Dang
this
it!
wrong.
Remove the
It's-
trademark.
No, it's trademark. It's trademark.
Partial trademark.
Burden.
It sounds like an
BR
A10 Warhawk.
Okay, so it's buy, rehab, refinance, Airbnb. So what is that? BRRA.
It's a dirt bike.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. We could get a whole logo
Yeah,
with
we
the dirt
can.
bike.
Burrap is trademarked by Tree
Trademarked.
City Homes and
Soar First
SFR.
Innovations.
yeah, Soar
Innovations.
First Innovations. Yeah. So
Thor.
cool. We've got that trademark. That's great.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, we've had a lot of fun. I'm the timekeeper here, so we
Yep.
got to get to wrapping up. I love you guys' business. I think it's awesome. How can people actually? We do a book question, book and podcast. What kind of book podcast do you guys like listening to? It could be real estate related. It can be personal development. It could be Joe Rogan, because I know you listen to Joe Rogan, or at least I just feel that you listen to Joe Rogan.
I do listen to Joe Rogan. Number one podcast that I'd listen to that basically got Mike and I here is called the MFCEO Project from Andy Frisella.
Okay,
Ooh,
MFCEO.
And
M-
it just
yeah.
changed over last year to
The Real AF.
Yeah, the Real AF.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
like, this man is a straight up cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
He will. There's an answer for your question about business in the MFCEO project.
Yep.
That's
Nice.
basically a free education right there on from basic 101, how to start business, how to do sales, how to properly get employees and have them stay with you.
Yeah.
Everything is there, and he
That's
does it for
awesome.
free.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Real AF is just another the next level for him.
That's good.
And so, highly recommend it. I'm like, wonderful man. He just wants you to win.
Yeah.
And so, that's what I'd recommend for podcasts.
Okay. Nice.
Books, I'd recommend Tim Grover's Unleashed,
Okay.
and his second book, Winning. That's basically, once you read his first book, this is the next level of it.
Okay.
And so, those two books and The Beautiful Question.
Hmm.
It really gets you to stop and think about what you're actually doing, questioning yourself in a constructive way to keep forward progress moving.
Yeah. That's good.
I like that.
That's good. What about you, Mike?
I would have said the MFCEO as well,
Yeah.
because that, like Casey said, that really shifted our mindset of how to really start developing an entrepreneurial mindset. 'Cause
Yeah.
going into it, we had creative ideas and we knew where we wanted to go. We had no idea how to get there, and that started generating.
How can we turn that into a
roadmap.
rocket?
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, you're
Yeah.
assembling a space rocket to
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
us
That's
forward.
rad.
Trying to think of a book. I've read a couple recently that I think one of my favorite books, and I've probably done it a couple of times, two books. One very popular one is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's
good.
That's what I'm trying to get my daughters to read that book
Yeah.
now, because they're at the age where I want to be able to hand our business opportunities over to them at some point when they get old enough to handle it.
Yeah.
But to think that way, to develop that mentality. And then the other one is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin,
Okay.
who are ex-Navy SEALs that
Yeah.
were active during the Battle of Ramadi.
Okay.
And they pull a lot of their leadership and business development concepts from the strategies they used during the war.
Yeah.
But
nice.
so the stories and the turnover is just it's really
phenomenal
It
book.
makes great sense. A great book.
That's
Like,
rad.
there's one thing that Mike and I pull from him, Jocko Willink, all the time. When things are going great, when things are going bad, and things are going horrible, just tell yourself, good.
Good.
I
yeah.
like that.
Good.
I like that.
Time to get better.
Yeah.
Good.
That's really
Time
Opportunity
to
good.
to
keep-
grow.
Mindset is so important, like how you feel about a situation and how you let that dictate your day.
Mhm.
Yep.
The whole good mentality means you're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
It's a
Doesn't
good thing
matter,
that
like-
we're exactly right
yeah.
here, right now, doing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Exactly.
If you
man.
could say that to yourself,
Yeah.
I'm like, your mind's going to shift really quick.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more thought before we end the show.
Yeah, go for
I think we should do a second episode that'll be specifically like a YouTube and Instagram series.
Sure.
And we should go really deep on this model.
Yeah. Run number. That's what.
Run
Yeah.
real numbers,
Yep.
real spreadsheets. We're going to look at, the projections you guys gave us, the cost of the house, burring it, the furniture, all of the setup. I think we've actually got some cool connections. I want to introduce you guys to David McKenzie DMAC later today, because he could probably do some cool videos for your guys'
Oh, yeah,
business
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
But I think he could be part of the process of documenting us starting this first one together.
Sure.
That'd be cool.
Take it start to finish. Because this is a really cool model for people. And
Oh,
like,
that's actually a really great idea.
Boise,
Yeah.
Idaho doesn't work for the traditional burr, but it does work for the burp.
Brah.
Right. Whatever.
Look at it. He just tried to throw it in all casual. I love it.
That was the whole
I
point
love
of this
it.
podcast.
I love it.
Cool.
All right,
Well, hey,
guys.
we love you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you guys so much for coming on the show. How can people get a hold of you?
Soar First Innovations is our Instagram tag. I'm mainly on Instagram, so hit me up at KCK Barnwell on there. So
Boom.
Mike?
And our website is soarfirstinnovations.com. You can see our site. You can see our properties there, and it explains a lot more of what we do and how we can help you take your properties to the next level.
Right on.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Of course,
appreciate
it's been a
you
blast,
Thank you guys.
See ya.
This was awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Chasing Freedom podcast with Noah and Jeff.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel in the show notes below. And if you ever want to get a hold of us, feel free to do it via our Instagrams. You can also follow us for our funny content on TikTok.